Hello everyone, this tutorial I'll be showing you how to crochet this custom sized oval table runner. This is a wonderful project. This table runner is custom to your desired length and width, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to crochet this wonderful piece. This is what it looks like up close. And this is what it looks like far. In this tutorial, just like all my tutorials, this is a full tutorial where I show you how to crochet this piece from start to finish and what to think about on every single row. This is a 6-part series. Now for this project, you can choose any width or any length that you desire for your table runner. Just to give you an example that we're going to do for this tutorial for mine. Mine is 55 inches long and 15 inches wide from end to end. This is an oval table runner and it's great for tables with curved ends. If you're looking to do a table runner that has rectangular ends, then you can also check out my custom table runner for a rectangular table runner. Again, you can customize its length. This is what it looks like. This is a sample here. You can see it's extremely detailed. You just look at the corners, look how much detail is in there, in the body, and on the side. So definitely check that out. It's on my channel, a full tutorial on how to create a custom rectangular table runner from start to finish. This one is one of my more popular videos. But for this tutorial, we're going to do this oval table runner, custom length, custom width. And as you can see with this table runner too, it's got a lot of detail as well. Starting from the center here, we've got in the middle section here, a very nice basic detailed pattern, easy on the eyes, and if you put things on top of it, it's not going to cover up the even more detailed edging. And for the edging here, you can see we have these triangles, these 3D triangles that create an X. And from there, we've got the fan that leads out to even more details. We've got this raised element here, this zigzag, followed by popcorns, followed by this bar here, and followed by these crowns at the top with picots 1, 2, 3 on each end. So there's a lot of detail from here to here that makes this piece a showstopper. And even on the end, you have this lattice part here. So you have a whole array of various different textures in this table runner, and when somebody sees it, they're going to be impressed with how well you've done it. We have this part here, followed by this different texture, this different lattice texture here, followed by this, these zigzag texture. We even have various different shapes. We've got a lot of circles and triangles involved in this piece as well. We have popcorns, and finally the edging, which is beautiful. So lots of various different textures, and that's what I love with all of the projects that I do on my channel. I like the different textures that these pieces create, and I like to show you and give you tutorials on how you can create it yourself. So once again, in this tutorial, it's a full tutorial on how to crochet this piece from start to finish so that you can create your own piece yourself. I do have a written script of this video tutorial on my Etsy channel. You can find the link in the description below where you can purchase that. The written script is the script of this video tutorial where I timestamp each major section and I explain to you how to do it compared to a written instruction. It's not a written instruction where you can create the piece just by reading the pages of the paper. I call it a written script because you do need to follow along with the video tutorial. The script is there to aid you. So here is a sample of the script. As you can see, it is time-stamped and I have descriptions on each part where you can cross-reference within the video itself. So this is a 6-part series, 1 through 6, and within each part, I have labeled each round for you to easily keep yourself organized and on track. All you have to know for this project is basic crochet, and everything else I will teach you along the way. The amount of crochet thread you're going to need for your piece will vary depending on the size of your piece, but I'm going to tell you how much I used for my piece. So once again, mine is 55 inches long, 15 inches wide from edge to edge, and of course I used 2 colors. I used this lighter cornmeal color and this darker turmeric color. So it is a size 10 crochet thread for this piece. For the center motif here, I got up to 36 inches with 721 yards. Following that, I used another almost the entire ball of 721 yards for the remainder from here to here and all of this border here. So rounded up, safe to say, 1400 yards of this darker turmeric color I used. For the border, for the lighter color here, safe to say, 1000 yards for the border. So for my piece, 55 by 15, 1400 for the darker color, 1000 yards for the lighter color for the edging. Therefore, a total, if you're going to use one color similar size to my table runner, size 10 crochet thread, you'll probably need approximately 2400 yards. So I hope that helps, giving you a gauge to work with for your own piece. Now, just to give you an idea for your measurement, what's standard on this table runner is the edging. If you're using a size 10 crochet thread, the edging, so this lighter color here from here to here, is going to be approximately 3 inches. Standard, no matter what your size. The things that are going to be different based on your size is the centerpiece here. That's going to be different on your size. And this mesh section here, that's going to be different on your size. But the border is always going to be, if you're using a size 10 crochet thread, for the most part, approximately 3 inches. That means when you measure your table runner, you'll know that when you place something on your centerpiece, it'll be whatever size you want it to be, and the edging will always be 3 inches outward. So you can plan for that to showcase the beautiful edging. For this project, I use size 10 Curio Crochet thread. I do have a review on my channel. I love Curio Crochet thread. It's a beautifully shiny mercerized cotton crochet thread, size 10, 100% cotton, and this color is turmeric. So I used turmeric for the darker color, and I used for the lighter color, same Curio Crochet thread, but in cornmeal. Unfortunately, the cornmeal is discontinued, but you can substitute it with a more golden color. If you do wish to use a similar color palette as mine, the canary is brighter than the cornmeal, but it's also a nice yellowy golden color, which would look nice together with the turmeric. But the colors are up to you. You can use 2 colors like me. You can use 1 color for the entire piece. You can use 1 color and then just do the edging a different color, like how we've done the wisp weave ovals. You can have the center 1 color and the rest another color. You can have this border here a different color as well. The variations are up to you. For this project, I would recommend a size 10 crochet thread just because it'll keep the standard 3 inches for the edging here. If you do use a different size crochet thread or use yarn, the 3 inches will change. And for this project, I used a size 1.8 millimeter steel crochet hook for my size 10 crochet thread. Overall, this table runner is a wonderful piece with the different colors that you can choose to make it in. You can have it in a neutral color, you can make it a Christmas theme, Halloween theme, fall theme, even a summer theme, or for those of you who like contemporary modern, you can use what's very trendy nowadays, the grayish tone colors, to create something that's extremely textured that will fit in any sort of space. This is a great textured piece that's going to add a lot of definition to the table that you added to. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Check out my other videos and my tutorials on my channel. And if you're still interested, you can always check out the custom rectangular table runner that I do have on my channel. Now let's get started. So the first thing we're going to have to do to create our piece is determine the length and the width we want our total piece to be. So from edge to edge. Okay? So you're going to first measure the length and the width you want your total table runner to be, and then continue this video. So now that you've determined your length and your width that you want your total table runner to be, we're going to now do some preliminary calculations to figure out the measurement of this center piece. So when we create this table runner, we're first going to start out with the center piece here, and then we're going to build the edges around it. So we need to figure out the measurement for this center piece, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So my piece here, I want my piece to be a total of 55 inches in length by 15 inches in width. Okay, so 55 in length, 15 in width. So to determine this part here using those measurements, we're going to first subtract the sides from the width and the sides from the length to get how much the length and the width of this middle section we're going to have to create. So the sides of the width are pretty easy, it's straightforward. We know that this edging here from here to here is 3 inches. This ended up measuring 3 inches and a little bit. I'm rounding it down to 3 inches just to be safe. It's better to be a little bit short than to be a little too long, because if it's too long, it could fold over the sides of the table and it'll compromise the end result. So it's better to be a little bit shorter, and so I'm reducing it to 3 inches to round it off. So we know that this side from the border to the end is 3 inches, and we know that this side as well, same thing, from the border to the end is 3 inches. Therefore, for the width, I'm taking 15 inches of my total that I want it to be, and I'm subtracting 3 inches from one side, 3 inches from another side. And I'm also subtracting 1 inch. So 1 inch is flat. So what that means is no matter the size of your piece, always subtract 1 inch flat. So that gives me a total of 8 inches. So that's going to determine that this middle section here, I'm going to create it to be 8 inches wide. And if we measure my final result, it's 8 inches wide. Okay? Now let's figure out the length. So the difference between the length is that we have this part here, which we have to subtract. We know that this part is 3 inches. So for our length, we have 55 inches that I want my total length to be. Yours would be your own number. And I'm subtracting 3 inches from one side and 3 inches from the other side. So 3, 3. Now we have to figure out this length that we have to subtract. And this is going to be customizable to you. It's going to depend on the width of your piece. So first we have to create a rough draft of this for us to measure. And we're going to do that now. So to create your rough draft, I'm going to show you how to do it. But first I'm going to explain to you what we're going to do. So this sample piece here that I laid on top of is my rough draft for this part here. All right, so ignore this part here. That's why I have the red line here. Ignore this part. I made it too large. This is the size that I wanted for my piece. So I know that I wanted mine to be 8 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is create a chain that is the width of this center piece that I want, so my 8 inches. And then from there, I'm going to do chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 3 space, single crochet in the next chain 3 space, cross all the way to the end. And I'm going to create it up until I reach a length that's going to give me a curve. So if you go all the way to the end here, it's a triangle. It's too triangular. It's too pointy. We don't want that. We want it a nice curve. See right here, a nice curve. That's what we want. If it's too pointy, it's going to go all the way up here. So we're going to stop around here. So as I have my preliminary piece here, we're going to create it until we reach a nice curve, and we're just going to curve it with our eyes. So that's why your piece will be unique to yours. You're going to curve it with your eyes, see where you need to stop, and from there, as you can see mine, I need to stop around here. I'm going to measure it, and it measures approximately 2.5 inches. Therefore, I know that this piece that I'm going to create is going to be approximately 2.5 inches on this side and on the other side of the length of my table runner. So if we measure this piece, it's approximately 2.5 inches. And for me, for my width, that gave me a nice curve. Therefore, I know that that part is 2.5 inches. So I'm going to subtract 2.5 from one side and 2.5 from another side. And then I'm going to subtract 2. So 2 is flat. So same as the 1 inch here, 2 inches is standard for your piece, no matter what size you were doing. So we're going to take all of this now, and we're going to subtract it and total it up. So therefore, the total that I have is 42 inches. So now we know that the middle section is going to be 42 inches long and 8 inches wide for my piece. Your piece will be the dimensions that you created. So 42 inches long by 8 inches wide. So that means I'm going to create this piece, this middle section here, those dimensions. So before we get started on this, I'm going to show you how to create this part here so you can subtract your own measurements for the length. So the first thing you're going to have to do is take a scrap piece of crochet thread that is the same size as your final crochet thread that you're going to use for your final piece. You can also use the same crochet thread you're using for your final piece if that's what you want to do. I just decided to use Aunt Lydia's size 10 crochet thread for this rough step that I'm going to do, because it's the same size as the final Curio Crochet thread that I'm using for my table runner. So now we're going to start off with a slip knot. So take your yarn, put it in your hand like this and twist it. Create an X. Then take the tail, hold the tail but pull it through the knot like this, and this creates a slip knot. Insert your hook into the knot, pull the tail. Now all you're going to do is chain. So you're going to keep chaining until you reach the desired width that you want your centerpiece to be. So we calculated that mine will be 8 inches in the center, 8 inches wide. So I'm going to create my chains until I reach my 8 inches. You will keep chaining until you reach the desired width that you want your centerpiece to be. I will meet you there. Now that that's done, I have the chains, the desired width that I want my centerpiece to be. Now I'm ready for the next row. For the next row, all I'm going to do is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into the 6th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3 that we just created, 4, 5, 6. This one here, that's the one we want to single crochet into. So single crochet into there. Chain 3. Now we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and single crochet into the 3rd chain. Chain 3. Skip 2, 1, 2, single crochet into the 3rd chain. And we're just going to repeat to the very end of this row. Chain 3, skip 2 chains, 1, 2, single crochet into the 3rd chain. And that's going to create this. So continue doing that to the end, and I'll meet you there. So here I am at the end of my piece. I've done my last single crochet. If you find that you have extra chains left over, that's fine. It's just a rough draft. So now that we're on the end, we're going to turn our work and begin the next row. So for the next row, we're going to chain 3. We're going to single crochet into the next chain 3 space. Chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 3 space. Chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 3 space. So we're going to do that all the way to the end. I'll meet you at the end of this row. So here I am at the end. I've done my last single crochet. I'm going to turn my work. Begin the next row. Chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 3 space. Chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 3 space. Like this. Chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 3 space. Same thing until the end. I'll meet you at this end. Now here I am at this end. For all the ends remaining and as we continue going up, see this first chain 3 that we did in the previous row, we're not going to work a single crochet into there. We're actually going to do our chain 3 and our final single crochet into this chain 3 space before this beginning chain 3 of the previous row. So this one here. So that's the same as this end here. When we turn our work and we work back to this end, this beginning chain 3 that we did, we're not going to do a single crochet into there. We're going to actually do our last single crochet into this chain 3 space before it, and then turn our work and begin our new row. The reason we're doing that is because we want to create a triangle. If we keep working in the edges, we're going to end up creating a rectangle, which is not what we want. We want a triangular shape. We want our chain 3 spaces to be reduced every row. So here I am at the end of my row. I have my beginning chain 3 space of the previous row. I'm not going to work into there. I've done my last single crochet here. I'm going to turn my work. Chain 3. Single crochet into the first chain 3 space. Chain 3. Single crochet to the next chain 3 space. And just repeat till the end of the row. Till we get to here. Where again we're going to stop our last single crochet into here and not do a single crochet into this beginning chain 3 of the previous row. And so you can see that it's starting to reduce. That's what we want. We want it to reduce. Okay? You're going to continue your piece until you reach a nice curve. If you go too far, it's going to create a triangle. Once again, we don't want the triangle. You can go as far as a triangle and then look at your piece and determine where your nice curve is based on that. That's fine. This is a rough draft. If you go too short, it's going to create a hexagon, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a nice, smooth, round curve. So we don't want it too short and we don't want it too tall. We want it in the middle here. Here, that's approximately 2.5 inches. So you're going to take the measurement you find, subtract it from each end of the table runner. Take this, which is the 3 inches, subtract it from each end of the table runner, and subtract 2, which is a flat standard number no matter what size you're doing. Like I have here, the total number, the total length that I want my table runner to be, subtract 3 on each end, subtract the 2.5 that I have for here, 2.5 on one end, 2.5 on the other end, and 2, standard number flat, no matter your size of your table runner, gives me 42 inches. So I know that this length of this middle section will be 42 inches, and I know that the width will be 8 inches that we calculated before. So once you have the calculations of this middle section here, we're going to start to create this middle section. So once you figured out your size for this, you can cut this away, keep it if you want, throw it out, or even unravel it to save yarn. We don't need this anymore once we have our dimensions. So now we are ready to make this middle section. So we're going to start off with this part here. We're going to ignore the sides for now and just create this part. So once you figured out your length and your width that you want this middle section to be, we are going to start creating it. My middle section, just to give you an example, is I want it to be 8 inches wide and 42 inches long. So to begin the pattern for the middle round, we're going to start off with chain. So take your first color that you want the middle section to be in. We're going to chain it. Take your string, twist it over, take your tail, hold the tail but pull this part through, and you're going to create a slip knot. Take your hook, insert your hook into the loop and pull the tail. And that's going to tighten your slip knot. Now we're just going to chain. So you're going to chain until you reach your desired length, and you're going to add an extra inch. So because I want my width to be 8 inches, I'm going to chain for 8 inches, and then I'm going to add an extra inch. For some reason, when you work the pattern, it shrinks it an inch. So that's why I'm going to go up to the amount that I want, add an inch, because that inch will eventually be shrunk. So this pattern is in multiples of 5 plus 2. So plus 2 is 2 flat. So 1, 2. So make 2 chains. Now we're just going to count in multiples of 5 until we reach our desired length. So my desired length is 9 inches. So it's the 8 inches that I want plus 1 inch in slack. So I started out with 2 chains flat. Now just count multiples of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just going to keep counting in multiples of 5 until I reach my desired length of 8 inches plus 1, so a total of 9 inches. I will meet you there. So here I have my desired length of 8 inches plus 1 extra inch of slack, so a total of 9 inches. Once you're here, we will move on to the next row. So now we're going to work 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So here's our hook. The first chain is this, the second chain is this one. So in the second chain here, we're going to do a single crochet. Now you're going to do 1 single crochet into the next chain, 1 single crochet into the next chain, and now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to skip 2 chains and 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 chains. So skip 1, skip 2, and then into the third one, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Into the fourth one, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Into the fifth one, we're going to 1 single crochet. And now we're just going to repeat that. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, into the third chain, we're going to do a single crochet. Into the fourth chain, a single crochet. And into the fifth chain, a single crochet. And repeat, 1, 2, 3, skip the first 2 chains, 1, 2, into the third one, 3, here we do a single crochet. Into the fourth chain, a single crochet, and into the fifth chain, a single crochet. Like that. And then just repeat chain 3. So this is what we're creating so far. Chain 3 with 3 single crochet, chain 3 with 3 single crochet, and in between the chain 3 is 2 chains. So I'll meet you at the end of this row. So here I am at the end of this row. I've done my last chain 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains left over. The first 2 I'm going to skip. The last 2 I'm going to do my single crochets into those. 1 and 2, and that's going to complete our row. So this is what my piece looks like at the end of this row. Now for the next row. For row 2, we are going to turn our work, chain 1. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first single crochet. So here's our chain. Our first single crochet is here beside it. 1 single crochet into there. We are going to do 5 single crochet into the next chain 3 arch. So into the space itself, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, 4, 5, like this. Now we're going to skip 1 single crochet into the next single crochet, and repeat. So we have 3 single crochet here, 1, 2, 3. The first one we're going to skip, the second one we're going to do a single crochet into there. The third one we're going to skip, and we're going to do 5 single crochet into the next chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're just going to repeat. We have 3 single crochets here. The first one we're going to skip, the second one we're going to do a single crochet, the third one we're going to skip, and then we're here at our chain 3 space where we're going to do 5 single crochet. So that's going to be the pattern to the end of the row. I'll meet you at the end of this row. So here we are at the end of this row. I've done my last 5 single crochet. Here's my last 2 single crochet of the row. I'm going to skip the first one, do a single crochet into the last single crochet, and that completes this row. So this is what my piece looks like at the end of this row. Now for the next row, for row 3, we're going to turn our work and begin row 3. Row 3, we're going to start with chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This counts as our first half double crochet and chain 1. So we're going to skip the first 2 stitches. So the first one is here. The second one is here. And into the third one, we're going to do a single crochet. Into the fourth one, a single crochet, and into the fifth one, a single crochet. So ironically, the 3 that we just did our single crochets into is the top 3 of the 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, we skip. 2, 3, 4 is what we did our 3 single crochets in, and 5 we skip. So that's the same what we did here. After that, you chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the next 3 single crochet. So 1 is the 5th one, 2 is the one in the center here, 3 is the first of the new 5th. So 1, 2, 3, skip those, and to the next 3 we do 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet into the first, into the second, and into the third. And again, those 3 single crochets we just did is into the, out of the 5 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first one we skip, the second, third, fourth is what we did it, the 5th we skip. And we're just going to repeat. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip the next 3 single crochet, which is also the 5th of the 5, the middle one, the first of the 5, we skip those. 1, 2, 3, and in the next 3, 1, 2, 3, we do 3 single crochet into there, which is the same as 2, 3, 4 of the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, we do single crochet. And then you just chain 3, skip the next 3, 3 single crochet into the next 3, chain 3, skip the next 3, 3 single crochet into the next 3, all the way to the end, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. So here I am at the end of this row. I've finished my last 3 single crochet. I have 2 single crochet left to deal with. All I'm going to do is skip the first one, and into the last one here I'm going to do a half double crochet. So I'm going to begin with a chain 1, yarn over, insert your hook into this last single crochet, pull loop through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That completes our half double crochet, and this is what my piece looks like at the end of this row. Now for the next row, row 4. So for row 4, we're going to turn our work and begin with a chain 2. So 1, 2, and this acts as our first single crochet. Now we're going to do 2 single crochet into the first chain space. So here's our first chain space, 2 single crochet. 1, 2. Now we're going to do skip 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet into the next single crochet. So we have the 3 single crochet here, 1, 2, 3, skip the first, into the second we're going to do a single crochet, skip the third. Then we're going to do 5 single crochet into the next chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just going to do the same thing we did previously. Skip the first single crochet and the second single crochet of the 3, single crochet. Skip the third single crochet. Chain 3 space, 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then repeat. So we're going to repeat that all the way to the end of this row. I'll meet you at the end of this row. So here I am at the end of this row. So I've done my 5 single crochets, skip 1, single crochet into the second one, skip the third one, and here's my last chain space here. So after this final single crochet, I will do 2 single crochet into this chain space, 1, 2, and then I will do 1 single crochet into the second chain of beginning chain 3. So here's beginning chain 3, 1, 2, the second chain here of beginning chain 3, 1, 2, single crochet into there, and this is the end of my row. Now for the next row, row 5. Row 5 is the final row of this pattern, and we're just going to repeat afterwards. So for row 5, we're going to begin, we'll turn our work, begin with the chain 1, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet into each of the first 2 single crochet. So we have chain 1, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. So these first 2, we're going to do a single crochet into each of those. 1, 2. That leaves us with the middle 1, 2, 3 single crochet here. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip these next 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, the middle ones, and the next 3, which is 1, 2, 3 at the top, which ironically is the same as top 2, 3, 4 of the 5 single crochet at the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4 is what we do our single crochets in. So chain 3, skip the first 3, 1, 2, 3, and the next 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet. Chain 3, skip the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and do 1 single crochet into the next 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and just repeat chain 3. Okay, so that's going to be what we're going to do for row 5. So it's similar to what we've done previously. Chain 3, skip the next 3, single crochet into the following 3. Chain 3, skip the next 3, single crochet into the following 3. And that's what we're going to do till the end of this row. So I'll meet you at the end of this row. So here we are at the end of this row. I've done my last chain 3. I'm going to skip the next 1, 2, 3 single crochet. I have 2 single crochet left over, a single crochet in my beginning chain here. In the single crochet, we're going to do a single crochet, and in this beginning chain here, we're going to do our last single crochet into there. So we've done 2 single crochet. So this is my piece at the end of this row. Now all we're going to do is turn our work and repeat row 2 to 5. So row 2 begins with a chain 1 and single crochet into the first single crochet. Chain 1, single crochet into the first single crochet. So skip this chain that we just created into our first single crochet here, single crochet into there. Then you have 1 single crochet and your chain 3 space. Skip the first single crochet and do 5 single crochet into the next chain 3 space. Then you have 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, skip the first, single crochet into the second, skip the third, and then you're here at your next chain 3 space, and you're just going to repeat. So you're going to repeat rows 2 to 5 all the way until you reach your desired length. Okay, so I'm going to repeat 2 to 5 until my desired length. My desired length is 42 inches. Your desired length is the one that you calculated for this middle section here. You're going to continue doing this pattern until you reach your length that you want. And I will meet you at the end. And as you can also see, if we measure it, the 9 inches that I initially wanted shrunk. See, so that's extra inch of slack, reduced it to 8 inches now. That's the amount that I actually wanted. So that's why we do the extra slack, okay? So do your piece until you reach your desired length, and I will meet you there. So here I am, I've completed my 42 inches. You would have completed the amount of inches that you need for your project. And this is what my piece looks like at the end. So the corners may curve, that's okay. We're going to add the border, which will flatten it out. And you want to make sure that when you measure this piece, that you lay it down on a flat, smooth surface. So don't lay it down on a carpet, because a carpet will stretch the fibers. The friction will stretch the fibers. You want to lay it down on someplace smooth, flat, pad it out, flatten it out, and then take your measurement, and that will give you an accurate measurement for your piece. So now, let's begin the next part. Now when you end your piece, you want to make sure that you end it off on a chain. So you know how we did the piece? We did a chain, and then we did our single crochets inside the chain, single crochets to create this thicker element. We want to just end it off on the chain part. So we did our single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, chain, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, chain. So you want to end off on that row so that it matches the beginning. So this is the beginning that we started. And as you can see, we have single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, chain, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, chain. So we want to end off the same way so that it matches. Okay, so that both ends match. All right. So now once you've done that and you're at your desired length, we're going to move on to the next step. So for the next step, we're going to prepare it to create these triangles on this part of the pattern. So we have our ends here, and then we have our triangles in the middle, and then our ends. Okay, so we're going to set it up to prepare for that. So I'm showing you this piece because it's easier to see what I will be talking about and how to explain what we're going to do next. The center piece will be the piece that you just created, and we are going to now work on this border part here with the triangles. So each triangle consists of a corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, and each corner has 3 ticks, 1, 2, 3, followed by a triangle. Triangle, 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 and then the next corner, 3 ticks, 1, 2, 3, triangle. The next one, 1, 2, 3, triangle. The next one, 1, 2, 3, triangle. Okay, so the next part, we have to make sure that we have the correct amount of stitches. So this is how we count it. So the corner has the ticks plus the beginning leg of our first triangle. Following that, we have 1, 2 stitches inside this triangle, and then one final stitch where the last leg of the triangle is connected to. So that's corner, 1, 2, 3 stitches for the first part. Following that, every triangle remaining will have 4 stitches. The first stitch will attach the first leg, 2 stitches in the middle of the triangle, 1 stitch that attaches the last leg, and repeat the next one. First stitch attaches the first leg, 2 stitches in the middle, 1 stitch attaches the last leg. So you're going to repeat that. So the beginning is corner, 1, 2, 3. Following that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then continuing with 4 all the way to the end. When you get to the end, it's going to repeat the same thing at the beginning. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 stitches plus a corner. The first one will attach the first leg, 2 stitches in the middle of the triangle, and the last one, the last leg, will attach to the corner. So the corner will have the last leg, 1, 2, 3 posts, and then the first leg. And then we're going to repeat. Once again, the first leg attaches to the corner, followed by 2 stitches in the middle of the triangle, and then the third stitch, the last stitch, will be the last leg in there. So corner, 1, 2, 3. Then we have our triangles, which will have 4 stitches per triangle. So the first stitch will have the first leg, 2 stitches in the middle of the triangle, and then the last stitch will have the last leg. Then just repeat that for each triangle in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, till you get to the end. where you have one stitch, first leg, 2 in the middle, and then the last leg will attach to the corner. So it's 1, 2, 3, corner. Okay, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So that's how we're going to count our stitches when we do it on here. So right now the next step is we're going to prep it for that. So we're going to do single crochets all the way around, making sure that we have the right count so that when we get to the following step, we are ready to do our triangle. So here I am at the end of my piece. I made sure that I ended off on the chain row so that it matches my beginning chains, just how I explained. And now let's begin working our single crochets to prep it for the triangle row. So we're going to start off in each corner. We're going to start off with a chain 2. 1, 2, and we're going to work in this direction. Okay, in this direction. So chain 2. So this is the end here, and we're going to work the long way first. So after we do our chain 2, when we look at our piece, we have the chain spaces and we have the room for 3 stitches on top of here. Chain space, 3 stitches, chain space, 3 stitches. So in each chain space, we're going to do 2 single crochet, and then in each top here, we're going to do 3 single crochet. With the exception at the very beginning. So here's the very beginning of each corner. We're going to begin with a chain 2, and then we're going to do 1. We have room for 1 single crochet, so we're going to do 1 single crochet. Now, because these aren't actual stitches, you're going to have to improvise and insert your stitches where you find room to insert them so that you get 3 stitches on top of here. The chain spaces are easier. You just do 2 single crochet into there. 1 and 2. So what we have so far is our chain 2, our chain 2, 1 single crochet, and then in the chain space, 2 single crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3 single crochet. So what we just created was this part here, our corner, plus the first 3 single crochet, 1, 2 in the center, and the third one at the end here for our final leg of the first triangle. So that's what we created. Corner, 1, 2, 3 single crochet. Now we're going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the remaining triangles in the middle. So we're going to not only keep track of where we are doing our single crochet, so 1, 2, 3 single crochet on top of here, 2 single crochet in the chain space, 1, 2, 3 single crochet on top of here, 2 single crochet in the chain space. We're not only going to keep track of that, but we are also going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we make sure that we have our 4 stitches for each triangle. So it's very important that while we prep it, that we do create the correct count so that we have an accurate amount for the triangles. So the next part, we're going to just insert our hook into the available spaces and do single crochets into there as best as we can. So 1, 2, 3. So there's going to be 3 single crochet on top of that, and then 2 in the chain space. So we did 1, 2, 3, and then 1 in the chain space, 4. So that's 4. Now we're just going to count again. 1 more in the chain space, so that's 1, and then 3 on top of here. 2, 3, 4. And then we'll just repeat 2 in the chain space, 1, 2, and then 3 on top of here. 3 and 4, and repeat 1 more on top of here for the third one, which is our first one of the next count. 1, 2, 3, and 4, which will be on top of here. Okay, then the next one, 2 more on top of here for a total of 3. 1, 2, and then 2 more into this chain space, 3, 4. Okay, so like that. So that's how we're going to do it all the way till you get to the end here, and I will meet you at the end where we will work on our next corner. So continue counting, continue making sure that you have 2 stitches inside the chain space, 3 stitches on top of here, 2, 3, 2, 3, counting in groups of 4 all the way across. And I will meet you at the end of our first row where we get to our next corner. What I want to tell you as well is that if you do lose count, because there are a lot of stitches here, if you do lose count, or you think you might have miscounted, that's okay. So I don't expect you to, at the end, count every stitch all the way around to make sure that you have groups of 4. That'll be way too much work. So as long as you think you have it correctly, we're going to cross our fingers. We're going to hope that you do have your groups of 4. In the event that you did make a mistake, that's okay, because when we get to the part where we actually do the triangles, if you need, usually you'll be maybe 1 or 2 stitches off, that's okay, because you can easily insert or subtract your stitches when you get to the triangle part. So for example, once we get to the triangle part, if we start here and we work all the way to the end here, and we find that we only have enough stitches for 1 stitch in the center here, so in each triangle we have 2 stitches. So if we find that at the very end we only have enough room for 1 stitch, and then we have our corner, that's okay, because the triangle will still look perfectly all right, even if you do have 1 stitch at the very end here instead of 2 inside the triangle before you get to your corner. So bottom line is that it's not going to change your piece, and it's not going to distort it in any way. You're not going to notice a difference if you had to subtract 1 stitch or add a stitch once you get to the triangle part. So my point being, if you do miscount or you do forget where you want your count, that's okay. Continue working in the pattern as best as you can in groups of 4 and in groups of 3 at the very end plus the corner, and it'll work itself out at the very end. So you don't have to fiddle with counting each individual stitch if you think you've made a mistake. We are at the end of my piece. I've done my last group of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I have to finish off with a group of 3. So this is what my piece looks like so far. Right? This is the unfinished edge. This is the finished edge. So at the end here, we're going to finish off with a group of 3. Now it's okay if your piece isn't exactly even. Like for example mine, I have this group here. I don't have any more spaces, but I have to insert a group of 3 to end it. So I'm just going to improvise and insert 3 stitches at the end here. 1, 2, 3. So now I know I have at the beginning my corner plus 3 stitches, and then in the center I have 4 stitches, groups of 4 all the way to the end. And now I'm going to have at the very end 3 stitches, and that's going to finish the end. Now we're going to begin the next side. So the next side we're going to do the exact same thing as before. We're going to start with chain 2, 1, 2, that's going to create our corner. We're going to insert into this first area here. We're going to do 1 single crochet into there. Like that. Now we're going to do 2 single crochet in the chain space, 1 and 2, and that created our 3 single crochet. So we have our corner, which is our chain 2, plus 1, 2, 3 single crochet. And now we're going to do the same thing on top of this space. We're going to do 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3. And in this chain space, we're going to do 2 single crochet. We're also going to continue counting our groups of 4. So we did 1, 2, 3. Now 4. We're just going to continue 1 more single crochet into the chain space for a total of 2. So that's 1, 3 on top of here, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to repeat 2 on here, 1, 2, and then 3 on top of here. 3, 4. And then the third one here, on top of here, the third one, which will be the 1, 2 into here, 2, 3, and then 3 on top of here, 4. Right? So that's how we're going to do the exact same thing as we did here. Once again, we're going to repeat. And that's essentially going to be the patterns all the way around for each of the sides. So we're going to start off with a chain 2, do 1 single crochet into the top here, into the next spot, and then 2 single crochet into the first chain space. So that'll give us a total of 1, 2, 3, plus our chain 2 corner. So chain 2 corner, 1, 2, 3. Now we're ready to do our 4 stitches, groups of 4, with 3 single crochet on top of here, 2 single crochet in the chain space, 3 single crochet on top of here, 2 single crochet in the chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, etc. all the way to the end. So you're going to continue groups of 4 all the way to the end with 3 on top of here, 2 in each of the chain spaces till you get to the very end. In the very end, no matter where you end off, you can finish your 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you've done that and you're at the end, you have room for 3 stitches. You're going to do your last 3 stitches. So just like how we did over here. You're going to do your 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then you're done the end. You're done. Then you're going to turn your work and begin the next side, which begins with a chain 2 for the corner, followed by 1, 2, 3. You're going to continue your groups of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, making sure that on top of here you have 3 stitches, and in each chain space you have 2 stitches. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way around until we get all the way to the beginning here again, and I will meet you at the very beginning here. So you're going to continue and complete all 4 corners and 4 sides. I'll meet you here. So here I am at the first end. I've completed the first end, but I did do a slight modification. So the first modification I did was when I did this end, in the same way that we did this side, with 3 single crochet at the top and the 2 single crochet in the chain space here, I found that this side expanded a bit too much, and I didn't like that. If that's the case with yours, you can shrink it a bit by, instead of doing 2 single crochet in the center chain space here, you just do 1 single crochet in the center chain space. And that's what I did, and it shrunk it to match parallel with the sides, but still keeping with the same pattern as corner, 3 single crochet, groups of 4 single crochet in the center, and then the end here will be the same 3 single crochet and then a corner. The other modification that I did was just on this end here, and this is the end where we began this pattern here. So remember when we did all our chains and then we started working in the pattern up? So this is the end where we did our beginning chains. And what I noticed when I did my 3 single crochet on top of here, inside these beginning chains at the top, it created a space like this. You can see it's very gapped here. So to close it off like this, what I did was I did my single crochets in the underneath these gaps. So inside this spot here, here, and that closed it off. So I did my single crochet here, here, and here for the top 3 part here. The chain space is the same, just in the chain space like that, and that created it closer, because when you get to the other end here, you'll find that it's not going to have that space when you do the single crochets at the top here. So that's why I had to modify this one, because it did have that space. I just did the single crochets lower down and it tightened it up. Okay, so that's just a modification. If you find that that happens with yours as well, you can do that too. So continue working your piece and I'll meet you at the end.